This program is brought to you by First National Bank of Botswana.
FNB, how can we help you?
Good evening and a very warm welcome to First Issues. From the moment they are born, women and men are socialized differently. They are bought different toys, have different behaviors reinforced, and are even taught to aspire to different things. This cultural conditioning is made clearly evident in the lack of women in leadership positions, from the corporate to the political arena. The Grant Thornton Global Women in Business report says for the past 15 years, the proportion of women in senior leadership positions has only increased by 10%. For almost a decade, that is from 2009 to 2018, the figures were actually static. That is until the very recent 5% jump that took women's representation from 24%, that is about 1 in 4, to almost 1 in 3 at the highest ever 29%. They report that while there is positive momentum towards gender parity, the entire globe has a long way to go to ensuring that women are economically and otherwise empowered for the benefit of corporations and society in general. To delve into key findings of the 2019 report, as well as some of the solutions being advocated for by the Key Insights Institution, is Tax Director at Grant Thornton, Botswana, Rebecca Sanchez. But this is preceded by observations shared by founder of Pinalead Consulting, as well as professional coach Lorato Mosetlanyane on Botswana's environment. Ms. Sanchez begins by sharing some of the key findings of the report. After several years of stagnation, we saw a 5% spike in the representation of women in leadership positions in just a year, bringing representation from 1 in 5 to 1 in 4, from 1 in 4 to almost 1 in 3 globally. What is driving such momentum?
We believe that there's no single force or single drive that made the spike happen, but there are many factors that contributed to it. One would be, if you've heard about it, is the gender pay gap reporting, where there is obvious report showing the disparity between the pay between men and women, and that makes people aware of reason why. And the second one would be the transparency in some organizations. And obviously, the biggest spike happens when, if you've heard about it, the Me Too movement. It spread like wildfire from one country to another, and all women are sort of engaged on it and get connected with it. So that made people aware, especially the businessmen, the businesses itself, to make sure that women are on board, and they pushed for women to be participating in the senior management role.
Another very interesting fact from the Grant Thornton Women in Business report was the fact that emerging economies are doing much better in terms of a representation of women in senior leadership positions than developed economies. Why would you say that is?
When you compare between emerging economies and established, or we'll say developed countries, there's a big difference. When you are in a situation in developed countries, the structures are there. So when the structures are there, you've seen it. So when you come out of this world, you've seen a structure and you know already that exists. So you move within the structures, and within the structure there are also deep-seated behavior and thoughts and patterns that is difficult to erase or move on because of the established structure. Now, compare it with emerging economies. One thing is constant there, change. It is always changing, and you never know that what is there today will be there tomorrow. So if you know that there is constant change, you have to adapt, you have to be flexible, Because without flexibility, then you get left behind. Whereas the others are moving forward and progressing, your thoughts are still there. So I believe that with emerging economies, that is where the big role is happening. Change is always there, and when people know that there's change, they always go for the comforts. When there is a gap, people will find a way to fill in the gap and make sure comfort is there and is established.
How do we get more women into senior management roles? What can be done?
We need the business people, the businessmen, to be more active to drive the change. They have to be the top leaders of each businesses or each corporation or company, as you call it, or every organization. They are the ones that will drive the change for gender diversity and inclusion of women in the business environments. They should be willing to go out of their comfort zone to make sure that women are put on board and that there are certain, that they champion this gender diversity role. Without that, it will be difficult. We are not saying that it's easy, that it can be done overnight, but they must also be there and realize that there have to be a conscious effort to be aware that for us to progress and perform better in terms of the changing economy, we need to make sure that diversity is there in our leadership team, as well as inclusiveness, where women can participate more, and diversity in the senior team exists, so that when you do then business review or analytics or what, you can hear different opinions. People become creative when there is diversity in the team.
Why are we advocating to see women in these positions? Why the focus? Is it a good thing?
What we are saying that is both men and women can be a good, capable leaders. What we are promoting is that when there is diversity in the team, business performs better, the team performs better, and the outlook in terms of the performance gets better as compared when there's a single, it's all men or it's all women. What we are trying to say is mixed it. Where there's women and there's men, it is established that business is better, team performs better, because there is that mix of opinions and people become more creative.
What of the company where you work? How is Grant Thornton doing in terms of promoting gender parity?
Globally, we can say that senior management role for women is only about 19.5%. We are not happy with these numbers because this is below what is expected, but we are really doing something to improve the numbers. This includes globally making sure that there's initiatives and policies to include diversity, gender diversity in the team. And we also do reviews, and apart from that, we encourage each member firm to include in their comprehensive program how women can be put on board and how we can start doing the program itself.
Personally, what do you think holds women back?
It could be, as women, we are from nature more about giving care to families. First of all, we are expected to care for the families, like if you have children, if you're family oriented. When you're still in that level, before marriage, you can say that you're there, you're in the game plan, you're willing to execute or exert efforts. But when family comes in the picture, things change differently because your priority now becomes the family. So that sort of hold women back because it's not that they don't want to pursue it, but rather the priority is caring for the family. And when caring of the family clashes with the expectations of the work, obviously women will definitely prioritize family. But what can be done is where the company or all organizations see this kind of dilemma that happens with women, they should be more supportive to say that, yes, we understand that you have a family and you have children to take care of, plus the career and plus other stuff. There is the program, there is that support that can help you to make sure that you don't leave out or you don't neglect your career and say that we are there to support you. Even if you say that family is there, we support you in terms of pushing your family, because at the end of the day, family matters to every one of us. And if organizations or company have that support, you feel comfortable. You know that I can do this and I'm not alone. And if ever I encounter challenge, they have my back and they know for sure that I am still interested in pursuing my career, although I have a family to attend to. Nowadays, there's a shift now where father or mother or both families are sharing the responsibility, and it's not only the women are burdened, so I say burdened, but rather connected more in terms of caregiving with the children. But also, if you are engaged with your partner or with your family to say that I want to pursue my career and I want to go far and I want to go big, how can you help me? And I think when you're vocal enough to say that this is what I want to pursue, past the judgment of other people, past the society's expectation, then it's a goal for women. They can go big. They can pursue whatever they want, and they can be in the senior most position, and they can share their views, and they can also inspire other women as well to say that I made it this far. Would you like to know how? And that is a good story to share.
What is the future of help? It's to help people find the great in themselves. The drive, the passion. Help them find their true potential. Help them stretch. Help them grow. That's why we help people help themselves, help the world, because a little help goes a long, long way. FNB, how can we help you?
Welcome back to First Issues as we continue to discuss gender parity in the workplace. Before the break, Rebecca Sanchez, tax director at Grant Thornton, Botswana, shared findings from their 2019 International Women in Business report. We now speak to professional coach and founder of Pinalead Consulting, Lorato Mosetlanyane, to discuss issues that affect the advancement of gender parity locally. The exciting news is that 39% of businesses in Botswana employ women in senior management positions. The terrible news is that just 3% of CEOs in this country are female. Lorato shares her observations from the ground as a local business person.
Yeah, I've noticed that we definitely in the right direction, and of course we're not yet there, but at least there is awareness of the fact that, or the reality that there is need for that parity as, at all levels, be it in government, be it in private sector, be it in the boardrooms. We're still not there, but we surely headed in the right direction.
What do you think are the barriers to progress? What is keeping women from the places you just mentioned?
It's a combination of a number of things. Firstly, there is a lot of mindset change, if I may say, with regards to accepting the reality that women are capable to lead as much as their male counterparts. And if you look at our culture, we're coming from a background where leadership was associated more with men than with women. And it's not only our male counterparts who seem not to be very comfortable being led by women. You'll find that even for us women, we still have a lot of work to do in terms of accepting that a woman can lead us and can lead us effectively and accept. And for me, the parity is very important because they are leadership qualities that come naturally to both men and to women. And if you bring both eyes to the table and to decision making, you are more, you're bound to make policies and laws that are more balanced, because there are certain things that a woman would pick that a male counterpart may not necessarily pick, or they may pick, but they will not mean the same thing or send the same message that you'll send. So that balance is really important at all levels if we really want to make policies that are going to take the nation forward and not only favor a certain sector or faction of the nation.
What have been proposed as solutions to this imbalance that we have been noticed?
Yeah, I would say, being a woman who's been in business here in Botswana for the past 6 years, there is more talk than action on the ground, than the reality on the ground. I mean, in my 6 years, I haven't been exposed to anything that I can say this was done to encourage or to motivate or to propel women to the next level in terms of their influence or in their business space. So I believe they are good ideas, they are good policies that are talking to them. But in terms of the implementation of those policies at ground level, there's still a lot that needs to be done. You know, we have to be more intentional about creating that conducive environment that we want to have more women coming into positions of leadership than men.
What have been your personal learnings along your 6 years in business? Did you face any opposition based on your gender? What are the things you have had to learn to succeed?
When I go out for business, I always say to women, let's not use gender as our main ammunition. I want to be given the same platform that men get, and I believe I should get what I'm getting because of my ability to meet the expectations of whatever that assignment is. But if you take I'll say an average, for lack of a better word, if I give you an example, if you take a single mother of 4, you know, every business, every position come with a challenge. And you'll find that when it's a mother, it's a single mother of 4, they live more as a survivor than having the option or the choice to choose what they have. Because getting into business would go for some time without making anything. And that's why the reason why I'm saying they live more as survivors is because of the reality that they put the needs of the family way before their needs and the options that they have. So I would say that is the challenge. But and that is what will get us more women in the space that we want to see. Because we're talking of you know, going into the extraordinary zone in terms of a lot of things. In terms of working hours, you'd probably work longer. And how many women can afford to have somebody taking care of the children as they're driving that? You'll be talking about probably you'll start to travel where you haven't. And I'm actually traveling now more than I was traveling before. And how many women can actually afford to travel and have that caretaker to take care of their family? So there's a lot that still need to be done to bring that balance, to be able to afford women that opportunity to exercise some of the choices. And I don't want to believe that women are not there because they are not capable. Like I said, I want to believe that a number of women are not getting into that space because they're looking at other social and financial needs more than their ability to go out there and demonstrate how much they can contribute in terms of the leadership capability.
What is the future of help? It's to help people find the great in themselves. The drive, the passion. Help them find their true potential. Help them stretch. Help them grow. That's why we help people help themselves, help the world, because a little help goes a long, long way. FNB, how can we help you?
Thank you for spending your evening with us here on First Issues as we conclude tonight's program with yet another installation of our Own Your Day, Own Your Life productivity segment. For weeks past and weeks more to come, we have been focusing on the topic of stress, how to identify it, how to manage it, what its repercussions are, and much more, with the help of our regular contributor, Professor Kieran Bhagat. Why allocate such a significant amount of time to one topic, you may ask? Professor Bhagat explains that there is a cost to this phenomenon that we simply cannot afford to ignore.
The costs of stress are enormous on society, and often they are unaccounted for. You know, the absenteeism at work, the sick days from leave, the diseases that we're talking about ultimately that result as a result of stress, the overweight, the blood pressure, the heart attack, the stroke, the diabetes, the depression, the suicide, the sleeping tablets, the domestic and family abuse that goes on, are all having their cornerstones in stress. So these are often not accounted for. You know, you may account, an organization may account for its stress by absenteeism, but nobody knows what's going on in the household, at home. You know, the partner, you know, the wife or the husband, the children, the resorting to quick fixes that a prescription might solve, you know, an antidepressant, a sleeping tablet. These are all unaccounted for facts that our economy cannot sustain if we were to account for it financially.
This program was brought to you by First National Bank of Botswana.
FNB, how can we help you?